Hooked On Fishing was brought to you by Matamata Sports World. For all your friendly advice and service, see us first. Hi, Chris Bungard, helping you plan your weekend's fishing. Don't tell anybody, but I think there's a nice high coming over the country for the weekend. We could be in for a bit of fine weather, a bit of good fishing weather. Gosh, last weekend was really tough. We had shocking winds, very strong, up to 40 knots coming across the Firth of Thames and that sort of thing. So there's not a lot to report about last weekend. However, let's have a look at a little trout fishing for you for a start. Some good news on the little streams and rivers around the district. Waikato, Rotorua, all around here. There is some lovely fish at the moment to be had in some of these rivers and streams. Of course, they opened on the 1st of October, a few days ago now, and things are starting to form a little bit of a pattern. Some of the smaller streams around the place, like along the base of the Kaimais, the Rapa, there's been some nice fish caught in there. The Omahini's been very quiet. The Waiumu, there's been a few caught in there. The good old Waihau. But Stephen Butcher, who weighed in some lovely trout, up to about 8 pound, caught up on Arapuni on the last weekend. So there's some nice fish on that lake. How many times have I said it to you before? Don't underestimate our local lakes around the district here. Arapuni and Karapiro really produced some lovely fish. Now, there were shocking conditions, Steve said, but he went right up the upper reaches of Arapuni up towards the Waipapa Dam, fished on the way back down just as you're coming into what they call the Sticks, or the river, the lake narrows. And as I said, you got some lovely fish there up to 8 pounds. So maybe have a little bit of a look around on the weekend. The conditions should be perfect up there. Glenn Skinner tells me that he's absolutely wrapped with the way that Lake Rotowidi's fishing. Early morning harling seems to be doing the ticket. The jigging and that during the daytime's been a wee bit slow, and the deep trolling's been a wee bit slow, but certainly worth dragging yourself out of bed nice and early in the morning. Get out there before the change of light. I emphasise and stress that one, before the change of light. You need to be on the lake with your gear in the water as the change of light comes. No use getting the boat ramp at the change of light, you're too late. So yeah, just try that. Rotowidi, Tararua as well. The best fish came off Tararua for the opening week, early morning harling as well. The jigging's starting to come on a wee bit there, but basically off what they call the ski lanes out in front of the lake there is where the best fish have been caught, as I said again, harling. Now, Okataina is another one that's coming on quite nicely at the moment. Now, normally Okataina is a little bit later than the others, but it seems to be fishing okay at the moment. So, beautiful weather forecasted for the weekend, so all the trophy lakes in Rotorua should be worth a look. Talking to Ken Duncan down the Taupo region, he tells me the Tauranga Taupo is probably the fishing the best of them at the moment. Really some nice fish coming out of there, but more in the upper reaches. There hasn't been a lot of rain to affect that really, so have a go at that. The river mouths themselves, there's a lot of moon about at the moment. Of course, full moon on Wednesday, so that's going to be a wee bit tough to fish those, unless there's a bit of cloud cover around, of course, but if the weekend forecast is the way it is, I think the river mouths will be a wee bit hard to fish. Out on the lake itself, talking to Bernie and Colleen Montague, they fished the lake down there for the Matamata Fishing Club competition last weekend. They found it a wee bit tough, to be fair, but the conditions were probably the worst thing. Early morning harling once again, but the deep trolling on Taupo seems to be working okay. Now, let's hope the West Coast sea fishing, talking to Aaron Laboire, who used to fish out of Raglan, he's been getting out on a boat or two out there, and he set out from Raglan in about 56 metres of water. It's been going quite good. Dwayne Pinney down off the Kawhia region. Of course, the good ship Clansman and the Dove, they run out from there. Some nice fishing out there at the moment. The conditions have been shocking, of course, but when they have been able to get out 52 to 55 metres of water, they're getting some lovely fish now. They're just starting to form their row. They're in beautiful condition, and a lot of them up around that sort of 10 pound mark. Best one he got over the last week or so was about 19 pound, just under that magical 20 pound mark. So if you can, over the next few days, next week looks absolutely brilliant for West Coast fishing. So if you get a chance, in fact, if you like to venture out there, there's a few bookings available on a charter boat with Dwayne Pinney. So if you'd like to do that, give me a call at the shop here, and I might better put you on to him. And I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's got bookings available. It would be really well worth it. Up in the Coromandel region, the fishing's starting to get better and better there on a daily basis now. The fish are getting that row. As they grow that row, their bite times become longer. So your fishing experiences become better. The tides up there are excellent for the weekend. You've got high tide around about 10 o'clock in the morning, so you can fish that incoming tide early morning. Then, if you like, you can fish the low tide in the afternoon around about 4 o'clock. Now, that's the one I'd be targeting. 4 o'clock low. At the incoming about 10:30 high tide at night, so you got that change of light with about half the tide. So that should be a really good recipe for targeting, some of those outer farms or even out around the cow and calf areas like that. Big tides as well, the full moon on Wednesday, so there'll be plenty of tide run. If you're going to fish some of those closer farms around Tikuma or just out off Waikawau, there'll be plenty of current through them, so if you're on some of those outer farms, you may have to take a little bit heavier sinker than you'd normally use perhaps. Over in the Mercury Bay region, John Elwood's excited over there, charter boat operator of the Y. He's heading out there. As I said, he'll be targeting that afternoon tide around about 4:30 low, 10 o'clock high. Now, out in the bay, plenty out here. Well, the boys, Graham Hornsey from Matamata Butchery and Phil Stevens, they went out to Motiti on Saturday night. The conditions weren't that great, but they got some lovely fish stray lining off the knoll. So if you get a chance on Saturday night, maybe head out there and have a crack at that. Now, if you'd like to win a new reel from Kilwell, well, of course, you can do that by giving us a call and get yourself on the draw for the month of October on 0508 647462. That number again, 0508 647462. This has been Chris Bungard helping you plan your weekend's fishing. Hooked on Fishing was brought to you by Matamata Sports World. For all your friendly advice and service, see us first.